Hey everyone, this is Kevin from Fort Orange Woodworking, and today I am coming to you from my garage because we are going to be doing some pallet busting. I do a lot of projects that have a rustic look with reclaimed wood often, and I have found that pallet wood is a really cheap and easy way to get my hands on some lumber to give it that rustic look for a lot of those projects that I do. However, you can use pallet wood or other types of reclaimed wood, finish them up, and use them for a more finished looking project. So I'm going to take you from start to finish and show you a couple of the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. Frankly, I learned them the hard way, so that I can save you quite a bit of struggle and grief. Hopefully that's going to be our objective today. So let's get started. So we're in the garage today, but my space, even though I'm in the garage, is going to be a little bit limited because like a lot of you probably, my garage is just full of stuff. And at the moment, it's especially full of stuff because I got this awesome haul of free lumber from a buddy of mine that was moving that just didn't want to take it with him. So I got a massive score on this. I got a bunch of pine slabs. I've got this maple butcher block cut off, some dimensional 2x4s, some hardwood, rough cherry, just a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to put to use. For now though, it's kind of in my way, but I'm showing you this because if you're especially looking to work with rustic projects or reclaimed wood, you gotta get your sources from anywhere you can. And once you start working and you talk to people and you get to know some other people that do woodworking, you're going to find that your sources of material are just going to you're just going to find more of them. So this was a great haul. Stay optimistic. Find your material wherever you can. You don't have to go spending thousands of dollars to work your craft and improve your skills. But for now, I'm going to get over in the corner and I'm going to start busting up these pallets. Let's get going. Today I'm going to be showing you how to bust up and repurpose a couple of different kinds of pallets. Not all pallets are the same, so give them, wherever you find them, wherever you pick them up, make sure that you give them a good inspection and see what it is that you're really working with. Some of the boards may be too brittle. Some of them have way too many nails in them for they've been just stapled together too many times. And some of them you can just tell that the quality of wood won't be any good for your purposes. So give them a good once over. And especially there's one thing in particular you want to look for. So on this one, you'll see right here, it's going to be a little tough to see, but I'll take a picture of this and include it. Right here, there is a heat stamp. It's a brand, and it says HT. That means that this pallet has been heat treated, and it's saying that because that means that this pallet is chemical free. Really important if you're going to be using this anywhere that's going to be near food or even just people's hands. You don't want anything that's been treated with chemicals. So heat treated is good. Now the good news is, even if you don't find that stamp, there's a good chance that if it's worn off or it's missing, there's a good chance that it's still safe to use. I wouldn't trust it without the stamp, but almost every pallet that comes into the US is going to be heat treated. The US really cracks down on chemically treated pallets, so that's going to make it a lot easier for you. But look for the stamp. Now we're also going to be dealing with two different types of pallets today. This one that I just showed you is held together with slat boards here and just little blocks of wood. This one, I'm going to have to break this apart manually with my hammer and pry bar. I'm going to have to go old school on this one. But it's giving me a lot of extra boards because of that construction. So I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. I'm going to get about 15 boards out of this one pallet if I break it up right. This big boy behind me, this is more of like a double pallet. I picked this one out because it's got the extra wide boards on it that I can use for different purposes, and this is more of a standard pallet. If you look right over my shoulder, you can tell that it's being held together by just simple 2x4s, and for that one I am going to use my favorite time saver, my custom Pallet Buster that I bought off of somebody on Etsy. That thing has been awesome. So if you plan on doing reclaimed project wood, if you're going to be using reclaimed project wood through pallets, I highly advise that you pick up one of these Pallet Busters. Save your back, save you lots of time. All right, So first, we're gonna go old school, and I'm gonna get started on this guy. All right, I've got my eyes and ears on to protect me from flying pieces in case anything pops out. I've got my gloves on to help me with splinters and vibration. I've got my ears in because it's gonna get really loud once I start ringing on this steel here. And lastly, I have got my handy little bowl here to collect any nails that come loose because I don't want them on my garage floor. Even though I don't typically park my car in here, it's other stuff comes through, tires, feet, pets, things like that. So make sure that you're taking all those precautions. So first thing you want to think about is just gonna climb on top of this, get some weight on it, and I want to resist the temptation to go in from the side. If I do that and I start prying up, I'm gonna split these boards. These are only about 3 inches wide to begin with, so I want to preserve as many of these as I can. So I'm gonna come in from the grain side on the long end and just start at the end. Get that pry bar in there, get my weight on it. I don't have much, but I use what I got, and that one come up. Now, you can go down the line, or you can do one board at a time. It doesn't matter. I think I'm gonna do 2 at a time. Get under there. Pry. And I'm gonna listen too. If I hear it start to split and snap, I'm probably gonna try it from another end. And that's why it was splitting and snapping right there, because my pry bar was getting under some of that wood. So just listen, pay attention as you're going. Then, I don't have a choice here. I gotta go through the middle. But I've relieved some of that pressure from the first end, so this is probably not gonna split on me. That's a good sound. We want that. This one's ready to go. I'm gonna finish this one because it's kind of in my way. Again, I'm going from the grain side. Pop that off. Nails are still in it. I'm gonna put that off to the side. Take those nails out later. Make sure we get them all. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna go in this way this time. And that's it. I'm going to keep finishing with this. And like I said, don't need much as far as tools go. Just got a hammer and a pry bar. You don't need fancy tools for this one, but it is labor intensive and can be a little tough on the back. I'm going to finish this up, fast forward a little bit, and I'll see you when this is done. So that's it. About 10 minutes worth of work for that pile of lumber. Still have to take the nails out. Finish those boards up if I want to make them look clean. But all in all, pretty effective way to get some free wood. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, for round 2, I'm going to be busting up this typical pallet, which is held together by rough 2x4s, and for that I'm going to be using this Pallet Buster. Again, like I mentioned earlier, I got this off of Etsy. I think it cost me about 30 bucks. You get the head. I put a nice piece of heavy iron pipe at the end of it for my handle so I can get some good weight and leverage, because I don't want this thing to snap, so you got to have a good handle for it. This is going to be a different approach, and you're going to be amazed at how fast this goes. So don't blink. I knew from the start that this piece was going to be no good. It's already been broken, stepped on, so I wasn't gentle with it. I let this one just rip in half. No good. Garbage pile. This one's okay. I broke it right about here, but look how much I can cut off and still get a decent sized small board out of that. So that big pallet, much larger than a standard sized pallet, took me less than 5 minutes to completely bust that up, even with talking over the camera. One more thing I want to point out on this one. Get that up there. That HT is another heat treated stamp. It doesn't look like the one from the last pallet, but HT means heat treated, and that means that this one is also safe. I got a totally different kind of wood out of this one, a little wider, a little more brittle. Looks like it's going to need some more work before it's usable. And frankly, some of these nails on the end, they're so close to the edge, I'm just going to cut those right off. I'm not even going to try to salvage the nails or that little bit of wood at the end. So I'm just going to cut those right off. A little bit of another time saver. Still have some nail holes in the middle for a rustic look, if that's what you're going for, but show you the different kinds of woods that we're going to work with. All right, let's move on to the next step, removing the nails. Okay, I've got a couple sawhorses set up. I've got my boards that need nails being removed, and I've got my garbage bucket at the end of the line here, so I'm just going to whack these nails right out through the bottom and into the trash can. Any that miss are going to go in my bucket, and this is not exactly rocket surgery, so we're going to fast forward through this, knock the nails out nice and clean, and I'll see you at the end. Okay, so right here is one of the big reasons why we're doing this video. I'm removing nails from this board, and I've got 2 of them out, okay? I've got 2 of them nice and clean, but it is hard to tell. There is one more nail that has broken off at some point in the past right here. So this is where it's coming through the wood, and right here you can see that there is still a nail head in there. That can be really dangerous. If you're going to use a planer to finish your wood, and that goes through, it is definitely going to destroy your planer blades. And also that little chunk can come flying out. If this goes through a miter saw or a table saw or any other tool and that metal is still in there, that could be really dangerous. So what I like to do is I like to get a colored pencil or a piece of chalk or something like that and very clearly mark where that is on both sides. So now when I go to plane this, I will know that there is something that I need to take care of. But I have one extra step in between removing nails and planing anyway, which should help to alleviate this issue. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. But this is one of the things that we need to be very careful of and look out for. Okay, and look at that. That is our final haul from 2 pallets. The pile on the left and the pile in the center, that's from 1 pallet. And the pile on the right is from the large pallet. And down here, those 3 2x4 pieces, I'm not going to use them for much. I think one of them under there looks like it's in a little bit better shape, and I might be able to get some use out of that as a 2x4 scrap, but those have a lot of holes and nails in them that I frankly don't feel like dealing with, so I will probably chop them up and burn them in a campfire someday. But this is a pretty good haul of lumber for a very reasonable amount of work. I'm not quite done yet, but the tough part is done. The manual labor is done. And I also salvaged this bowl of nails. Probably got about 100 nails in there, so I could reuse them for a project. I may just throw them away. I've got a lot of old nails, but if you want to use these nails for a rustic look, you can do so. Not bad. I am going to take this haul downstairs and move on to our next step. So, I'll see you in the shop.